ghosted your podcast and now you want to step back into it and you're wondering, do I pick up where I left off or do I start fresh? Well, if that is you, if you've dropped the ball on podcasting, join me for this episode. We're going to talk about what to do. Should I start my podcast fresh, over, or should I pick up where I left off? What's up? I'm Angie, and you are listening to Podcast That Pays, the podcast for online business owners who want to grow their business and sell their offers using podcasting. If you like no fluff, tell it like it is advice from a marketing-loving podcast agency owner, you are in the right place. So glad you're here. Let's dive in. What's up? Welcome back to Podcast That Pays. This is such an appropriate episode. We're at the beginning of 2026. Crazy. Happy New Year. I've been doing this podcast thing since 2019. That's hard to believe. I'm going on 7 years being in this industry, and I just love it just as much today as I ever have. I'm going to give you some updates and things and, on my podcast business and things about me as well. But let's dive into this topic because it's so fitting. Beginning of the year, people are either wanting to finally get their podcast started, or they're like, you know what, maybe I should resurrect that old dead podcast. So if you notice, I've been a little MIA. I've had lots of things happen in the past year and a half. My mom got sick and passed away. Um, I feel like that's enough. And so I really took a step back and just allowed myself to live life and just be. And that's exactly what I've been doing. And I'm just feeling better. Live, Laugh, Lexapro, and also therapy, and also giving myself space and time to just be. And also, Manhattan is just healing a part of me. And now I'm jumping back into my business. I started a brand new podcast, and then here I am back on Podcast That Pays. And so I'm really excited. And my point is, I'm back here on Podcast That Pays. No brand new podcast, no there is a brand new podcast, but no big fanfare. I'm just coming in and just gonna drop an episode and then pick right back up where I left off. So why is that right for me? What is right for you? What are you going to do with your old podcast? Here's the considerations. What the considerations are this. What's going on in your business? What do you have going on? What are your goals for your podcast? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, what do you want to do with your podcast? Like, is this something where, and then also how popular was your podcast before? So something logistically, technically speaking, when you put this RSS feed out and people start following it and subscribing to your podcast, it does build an audience that your podcast episodes then get pushed out to and alerted. Like, hey, this episode, there's a new episode on Podcast That Pays. Some of you listen to this might have gotten that alert. It's because you follow the show. So if you have a show that was really established and has a lot of people already following your RSS feed, it might be advantageous to you to pick up where you left off. I've got hundreds of followers on this show. I don't want to start from zero. I want to reach back out and connect with the people who were originally following the show. Would some people have fallen off and not going to listen and not know? Sure, for sure. But is it worth it for me to just pick up where I left off and capture those people who are going to get the alerts and maybe come back in and listen? Yeah. The other part of it is that the advantages of starting a new show are that you do get to start fresh on a platform. And so you do have a better opportunity to rank and to get more eyeballs on your show. If that is something that you're really wanting to do, if you want to get more eyeballs on your show, then 1,000% you should start over. So let's say you had a show, you only had 20 people following you, you weren't getting very much traction on it. Start over. Let's start from the beginning. Let's do a brand new launch. Let's get people engaged. Let's do what you couldn't do the first time because you didn't have the capacity. And let's get you some followers so that if you ever do need to take a break, you can come back in and there'll still be people that will listen to your show. The other consideration is the content. What do you have going on in your business? Has it changed? Is your content changed? Are you doing a new angle? Is the stuff even going to translate? Do we care to have those followers that were following me for my life coaching? And now I'm turning into a podcast coach. Do I still want those followers to come anyway? Are these people going to be the ones that convert for me anyway? If the answer is no, let's start fresh. If the answer is yes, then maybe you keep going if there was enough people. So if it's changing so dramatically that it's a completely different topic, that it's not the same person anymore, I even if you have 700 followers, I would say you could drop them if they're not going to translate at all. In my case, some of those life coaching clients who I had, if they were business owners per se, they may still want to start podcasts and it maybe still could translate over and worth keeping them. So these are the considerations that you have to think about when you're thinking about if you should start over or if you should just pick up where you left off. One thing I know that's true though is that you really have to think about what you have the capacity for, and as you step back into coming back to doing podcasting, I want you to really, we have a tendency as entrepreneurs to just reach for the stars. We want to do all the things. We set these big, huge goals for ourselves. But I want you to really think about what was working for you and what wasn't working for you in this first time that you were doing your podcast. Like what was working, what's not working? What did I truly have capacity for? What did I truly enjoy about this process? I know one thing for me, as I step back into fully doing my business, I did start a new podcast. It's a daily podcast, which is insane. 100. I was going to say 165 days this year. I'm going to release a podcast episode. But guess what? It's 365 days in a year. I feel like Portia when she didn't know how many days in a year there were, and there was 265 days in a freaking year. But anyway, 365 days a year. That's what I'll be doing. I'm just going to be giving little short, like quick tips, 3 to 5 minute episodes. So if you want to follow along over there, it's the Press Play podcast. And I am going through basically start to finish how to think about launching, growing, monetizing, laying out your content for your podcast. So each quarter is a different topic that we are going to cover, little quick tips. This podcast will be for Q&A. This podcast I will be answering questions in a more lengthy way than what I can do over there in a short 3 to 5 minutes. So if you are a short 3 to 5 minute, you want to quickly search what's going on. If you're in the process of just launching or relaunching, you can head over there and just follow along. This whole first quarter, we're going to be talking about considerations for launching your podcast and what you need to do. But if you're someone who likes a longer podcast and who wants to have questions answered, then this would be the one for you. But I brought that up to say I had to really sort of think about and lean into what are the things that I enjoy in business. And this just happens to be one of them. And this is something that I can do. Do I love to sit and think and write Facebook posts and do reels with the B-roll and the back? I don't. I don't. And this is what I enjoy. This is what I'm good at. And so I really just want to lean into this and this be the way that I create content and show up in the world and in my business. So think about that too when you're jumping back into this. Like, is this something that you really enjoy? Are you going to keep going? Is this going to be something that maybe you don't enjoy it? But I know for one of my clients, she does everything on video. We edit her video. We put this out on podcast apps. We put this out on YouTube for her. We take clips, we do B-roll. Every single piece of content in her business comes from her podcast. And so she might not love podcasting, but she definitely loves the ease of which she gets to create content in her business. That I can tell you for sure. So I really want you to take those things into consideration and really think about what it is that you enjoy. Is this really even the right thing for you to start back up? Why are you starting this up? Like, is this something that you're going to stick to? Why did you fall off? Was it a capacity thing? Is it just that it's not feeling right in your business? So think about all of those things before you begin again. and do this big, big launch and rebrand because you want to do this. Like, is this something you're really going to do and stick with? Is this going to be the 16th iteration of your podcast, the 16th time that you fucking quit? I mean, that could be okay. But if you're always quitting and pivoting and changing and like maybe it's not. Cuz this is a longer game platform. Like this is something that grows as time grows. Like this is something that's going to build on itself. This is something that's going to like it's like putting money into an investment account versus a savings account. That's how I look at doing this long form content because and doing this evergreen content because as long as this video can sit on YouTube, it's going to gain traction. The blog is going to gain traction. The podcast itself is going to gain traction. People are going to listen to this maybe next year at this time. Who knows? Whereas, short form video and other platforms, like it matters less that you change up, that you quit, that you doing a different thing because it just cycles so much faster. So think about all those things. I hope that in this year you will decide to go all in if that's the thing that you really want. The other update is that I am opening a school community. It will be pretty much the primary way you can learn from me. So stay tuned for that. You can learn all of my strategies for just $11 a month and hang out with me in community. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to bringing you answers to your questions every single week that you have. If you do have questions, you can always come over to my Instagram at Angie M. Spearman and ask me questions there. If it's something that I feel like a lot of people are asking me or I need to go more in depth with that I can't answer just in one response in a DM, I will come on here and I will make an episode about it so that I can answer your question more thoroughly. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and I will talk to you soon. Hey, if you enjoyed the show, head over to podcastthatpays.com to get started on your way to creating a podcast that pays. And don't forget to follow this show and take a screenshot that you were listening and tag me on Instagram at Angie M. Jordan. I'd love to meet you and show you some love over there. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Let's get this money.